What's up, guys? I'm Chris Spags here, back with another Four Corners for today's 12-game MLB main slate, courtesy of Osmo.com. As you can tell from my slightly more tan, slightly more alcohol-bloated face, it's been a hell of a week off for me down in Vegas, but I'm back with you guys today, and I come bearing gifts, and of course, that gift is a chance to win a free month of Osmo Plus. All you have to do right now is like the video and comment your double dong pick down below. Nobody got in the last video before my little time off, so let's get back on track today. Like the video and comment your double dong pick down below. Let's all get back on our grind right now with our first corner on today's slate that's hot pitching, and Mike Clevenger going against the White Sox should be the top owned option industry-wide. Clevenger gets 3.2 implied runs against him. He's expected to be the number one owned pitcher on DraftKings with 37%, on FanDuel with 28%, and on Yahoo with 54%. Clevenger has been a beast this year with a 1.1 whip, 2.6 xFIP, and 36.3% K rate. He's easily at the top in raw points projected going against the White Sox team, with a 26% K rate versus right-hand pitching on the year. Clevenger looks really good here, but his price is a bit higher than some other guys, so I could see limiting ownership for that reason. But overall, the raw points projection is too high to ignore, and I imagine I'll at least match the field on his ownership on all the sites. Jacob deGrom at Washington should also find some ownership today with 4.1 implied runs against him. deGrom will be number 2 owned on Yahoo at 26%, but he'll be lower owned everywhere else. deGrom's price is more appealing on Yahoo with a solid 31.4% K rate and a 1 whip, but a tougher matchup and a park downgrade versus a Washington team with a 189 ISO versus right-hand pitching is not an ideal one overall. Personally, I'd rather pay up for Clevenger because I'm a lot more afraid of Washington hitters than I am the White Sox ones, but deGrom is reasonably priced on Yahoo, so I could see getting there on that site, but probably not on DraftKings or FanDuel. And Mike Fultonevich versus Toronto should also pick up some ownership in some spots with 4.4 implied runs against him. Fultonevich will be number 2 owned on DraftKings at 26% and number 3 owned on FanDuel with 11%. It's a hot day at Atlanta going against a Toronto team who suddenly has 5 hitters over a 103 WRC plus versus right-hand pitching. So while Fultonevich projects decently, this is not a perfect spot for a chalky play. Toronto just blew up Fultonevich a couple days ago, and this spot doesn't look any better to me. I'm inclined to come under the field on Fultonevich and try to pivot some other guys at his price point. And now onto our next corner, the top stacks on the slate, and a Dodgers stack going against Chichi Gonzalez should be popular today. The Dodgers get 6.5 implied runs, and Chichi has offered little resistance on the year with a 1.8 whip, 6.1 xFIP, and 260 ISO allowed. The Dodgers park favors pitching, but in a hot day in LA, as I could personally attest to, the Dodgers have a 225 ISO versus right-hand pitching that could result in big production against Chichi and a weak Colorado bullpen. The Dodgers have some reasonable prices and some guys who also look like they were generated by MLB The Show, so I like this lineup overall. I think there's a lot of ways to stack them up, and they could have big production today against Chichi. And a Cubs stack versus the King, Felix Hernandez, should be popular today with 6.2 implied runs against him. There are affordable prices for Cubs hitters against Felix's 4.9 xFIP and 213 ISO allowed on what looks like a windy day at Wrigley, and that makes for an appealing combo. The Cubs have 6 hitters over a 107 WRC plus in their projected lineup versus right-hand pitching, could have big upside versus Felix's high 9% barreled ball rate. Felix hasn't shown much this year, and he's definitely in the decline of his career, so going against the Cubs team with the wind blowing out could be a dangerous spot, but also a really good one to roster some Cubs hitters today. And an Atlanta stack versus Wilmer Font should also be a bit popular today with 6.6 implied runs for them, which are a slate high. Font's 235 ISO allowed with a mediocre bullpen behind him are a solid spot overall on a hot Atlanta day. Full Atlanta stacks containing projected starter Francisco Cervelli should be popular, so many stacks focused around Ronald Acuna, Freddie Freeman, and Josh Donaldson, who are all over a 228 ISO versus right-hand pitching, could be the move to go to differentiate a bit. Atlanta's got a quality hitting team on a hot day, but I do think the full stacks look a bit overowned, so I'm inclined to go to those mini stacks with the big power guys that we all know. Now onto our next corner, the lower owned options on a slate, and a Pittsburgh stack going against Sandy Alcantara as one of those teams. Pittsburgh gets 5.2 implied runs, and Alcantara has limited damage well with a 241 batting average and 2.7% home run rate allowed this year, but Pittsburgh can extend at bats with an 18.6% K rate and a 276 batting average versus right-hand pitching. Alcantara allows a 5.5 xFIP and 270 BABIP that indicates he could be a bit lucky, so he could get gobbled up by a savvy hitting Pittsburgh team with a death by 1,000 cuts approach. Pittsburgh isn't a big power team, but they have a lot of competent hitters who I think could take advantage of Alcantara. I think the fact that they don't have those power hitters also make them slightly more appealing as a stack. And on the other side, Mitch Keller versus Miami also looks a bit good today with the 3.8 implied runs against him. Keller's had some control issues with the 2 whip, and Miami gets a park upgrade, but Keller's 27% K rate offers nice potential at his price point. Miami has a 125 ISO and 25.4% K rate versus right-hand pitching on the year, so this could be another positive regression spot with over 8 Ks from Keller in his last 2 starts. Keller's been a bit mistake prone in the majors so far, but he's also shown some big scoring upside from a fantasy perspective. I like the spot for him because Miami really doesn't have much to offer versus right-hand pitching. A Cleveland stack versus Dylan Cease also looks a bit interesting with the 5.8 implied runs for them. Cease has allowed big power with a 251 ISO this year and a 9.4% barreled ball rate that could give a Cleveland team who's fighting for a wild card spot a good chance at production today. Cease is even worse versus left-handed batters with a 2 whip and a 7.6 xFIP along with a 308 ISO allowed, so low-owned players like Francisco Lindor and Carlos Santana could have big upside today. We're in the time of the year where playing for something does matter, and the fact that Cleveland's really trying to hold on to a wild card spot means a little bit to me here, going against the guy in Cease who's allowed a lot of production on the year. And Jack Flaherty versus San Francisco also looks interesting with the 3 implied runs against him that are a slate low. Flaherty's a cheaper pivot to the higher priced arms who has comparably good stuff with a 1.1 whip and 29% K rate versus an iffy hitting San Francisco team. It's not a great strikeout matchup with a 23.3% K rate in San Francisco's projected lineup versus right-hand pitching, but Flaherty's been nasty enough and limited power well enough to justify some exposure today. Personally, I'd be more inclined to go to Flaherty instead of Jacob deGrom today because I think this is a better matchup for him, and Flaherty's pretty much just as good at a cheaper price. And now into our last corner of the one-off. San Francisco Lindor going against Dylan Cease is a guy I like a lot. Lindor's got a 252 ISO versus right-hand pitching in the leadoff spot, going against Cease's 308 ISO and 7.6 xFIP allowed to left-handed batters, and that represents a big opportunity despite Lindor's massive price point. People may not want to pay up to get to Lindor today, but you can pay up to be contrarian, and he does have a lot of upside against Cease, who's given up a ton of production to lefty bats. And Matt Chapman versus Tommy Barria also interests me as a one-off. Chapman is a 252 ISO and a 133 WRC plus versus right-hand pitching, while Barria gets slaughtered by right-handed bats with a 5.9 xFIP and 251 ISO allowed. Oakland's park is going to favor pitchers, but Chapman has big power, and somebody is likely to get to Barria today, and I think it might as well be Matt Chapman. And Corey Seager versus Chichi Gonzalez also interests me as a one-off. Even though there are better power left-handed bats in the lineup, Seager is relatively cheap with a 207 ISO and 121 WRC plus versus the 2.4 whip, 8.8 xFIP, and 296 ISO that Chi-Chi's allowed to left-handed batters. People may flock to the Cody Bellingers and Jock Petersons, and that's a good move too, but going to a guy like Seager or even cheaper guys as well like Matt Beatty could be a move here because those guys have decent power and Chi-Chi's given up to everybody. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on today's slate. So right now, please like this video, and if you want to win that free month of Awesemo Plus that I've been dangling over your heads all year, all you have to do is like the video and comment your double dong pick down below. And if you want another chance to win the free Awesemo Plus membership, you can also go to our Twitter right now at Awesemo_com. We're doing a special giveaway where all you have to do is guess Aaron Rodgers' passing yards on Thursday's game against the Bears, the NFL season opener. If you guess that correctly, we're going to be randomly picking a winner from there. We'll win a free year of Awesemo Plus. So right now, also go to our at Awesemo_com Twitter handle and go check out the pinned tweet for the details there. But also, today is the best possible time to get an all-access pass to Awesemo Plus, and you can use this promo code SWITCHANDHEDGE for half off your first month. We still have all this MLB content going and all the NFL content that's being rolled out right now. So go check it out right now and use that promo code SWITCHANDHEDGE for half off your first month of Awesemo Plus. Go follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Spags if you want to hear about my Vegas journeys and a lot of opinions I have about that. It may shock you to hear that I have a lot of opinions. Go check out the pinned tweet on my at Chris Spags handle on Twitter. But of course, also check me out on there because I'm going to be putting out a ton of content this week for both MLB and NFL, and that's the best way to keep up with me. So go follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Spags. I just hit my funny bone on my chair, and I can tell you the pain searing up my arm is not hilarious at all, but I will be back in a little bit with some NFL content. So subscribe to the channel because I really don't know the Four Corners schedule yet. I think I'm not going to be doing them on Mondays and Thursdays because of the NFL games going on those days, but subscribe. I'll still be doing them here and there at least a couple times a week, and of course a ton of NFL content. So I'll see you guys again soon. And of course, good luck and take care of your funny bone.